Welcome back to Lesson 1. You should have already watched Part 1 and Part 2. This video is the beginning of Part 3. We're now ready to practice making connections. The column on the left has two sentences. Pause the video and read the sentences and think about making a text-to-self connection. Were you able to connect one of the sentences to your own experiences? For example, the first sentence says, "The little boys and girls squealed with delight as the piñata broke open and the candy spilled all over the ground." For me, my text-to-self connection was that this reminded me of a birthday party I went to when I was younger. Making this connection helps me visualize what's going on in the story. The second sentence says, "The little girl opened her presents and she received exactly what she wanted." For me, a text-to-self connection could be that this reminds me of my own birthday when I was younger and I received exactly what I wanted. Thinking about this and connecting to this sentence helps me understand the way that this girl may have been feeling. Great job. It's now time for some final thoughts. I want to remind you of a few things and introduce you to a few literary terms. First, don't forget to visualize and make connections. Remember, visualizing and making connections will help you understand the text a little bit better. Remember, there are different kinds of connections. You can make text to self, text to world, and text to text. Pay attention to these connections and pay attention to the camera in your head. Also pay attention to and think about the important events. As you read through the novella, you want to have an understanding of some of the major things that happen along the way. Also be sure to keep the following literary terms in mind: setting, illusion, characters, and imagery. Setting is time and place, including culture. While reading, think about where the story takes place. Remember what you heard about in the introduction video. Also, you'll want to know about illusions and pay attention for them as you read. An illusion is an indirect or passing reference to some event, person, place, or artistic work, the nature and relevance of which is not explained by the writer, but relies on the reader's familiarity with what is thus mentioned. While you're reading, can you identify any specific references to the Great Depression? There are several in chapters 1 and 2. You'll also want to think about characters. A character is a person, animal, or imaginary creature that plays a role in the story. After reading chapters 1 and 2, you should be able to identify the two main characters and describe their relationship. You'll also want to start thinking about some of the minor characters that you encounter. You'll also want to pay attention to the imagery. As we discussed before, imagery is figurative language that appeals to the five senses: touch, taste, smell, hearing, and sight. Pay attention to Steinbeck's use of imagery. Make note of imagery that gives you a picture in your mind. This is the end of Lesson 1. You're now ready for the Lesson 1 assignment. Return to the web page for Lesson 1 and you will see the directions. Thank you for watching Lesson 1.